The beginning of this movie, Stan is rolling around with his own personal sniper in the back of the car. He's just like, all right, so here's what's going to happen.
You shoot him any chance you get, all right? If you feel good about it and you're sure about it, go for it.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass. We're gonna die.
Welcome back to Shat The Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Look here, mister. You may be some hot shit guy back in your turf, but you're in my territory now. So sit back, Gene, and enjoy the ride.
So dignified.
Thank you. I've won an Academy.
Each week, we take a look back in time to decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to see all the movies we have covered, we'll cover one and choose one for yourself. Please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with the number of bites each movie take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, you can subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV, review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. You find all information on past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And if you're watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I haven't gotten episode 2, but man, am I excited for it. Also, dude looks like you, Big D.
Well, I'm very honored in that. I've heard he is a charismatic guy. I've heard one of the reviews said after one episode, they care more about him than they did all the characters in Dragon or the half the cast at the end of Game of Thrones. So that's a high compliment.
Finally, to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel, where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are you reviewing tonight?
So, Gene, this week I'm excited. This is week 2 of Rob H. He's got a 4-week block of films. Last week, we did a great one. We did Field of Dreams. I think both of us enjoyed it, surprisingly. And tonight's film is one of those films that I did not remember, had a little difficult time finding it, but when we did, Rob H., whew, thank you very much for sending us back out to the wilderness to review the 1988 American buddy cop action thriller, Shoot to Kill.
And Rob wrote in a very English way, "Hi, crew of Shat." Well, my second commission is a bit of a change in direction, but hopefully one you'll enjoy. Shoot to Kill, or Deadly Pursuit as it's known here in the UK, is, in my opinion, a bona fide 80s classic. I still remember the first time I rented it, knowing next to nothing about it. I'll shamelessly admit it probably wasn't my first choice that Friday night, or even my second. But after reading the blurb on the back of the VHS at Blockbuster, I thought, why not? And I've never looked back. My decision may also have been slightly influenced by a young, very attractive Kirstie Alley being one of the leads. But hey, I was young and impressionable, so I think I could be forgiven. With minimal expectations, I ran home, hit play, and was completely hooked from the opening minutes right through to the end. The cast is fantastic. Sidney Poitier is great as the relentless city slicker FBI agent tracking a diamond thief in the mountains, while Tom Berenger, one of the most underrated actors of the 80s and 90s in my book, complements him perfectly as the rugged outdoorsman. Their on-screen chemistry really works, and their partnership grows into something both believable and likable. Clancy Brown adds another layer as the elusive diamond thief, and Kirstie Alley works well as the girlfriend in danger. The pacing is solid, the twists and turns feel believable. Yes, the music is interesting in places, but it's also memorable, though I may be slightly biased. There are some genuinely funny moments, and I personally love the Poitier versus the bear scene. For me, it is a solid 1.75 white movie. It's nowhere near perfect, but it's one I rented countless times back in the day and still love revisiting, preferably with a nice glass of red. Hope you enjoy it, Gene and Big D, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this classic 80s action thriller. Cheers, Rob H., in the UK.
I'm feeling optimistic. You and I don't read these letters until we've watched the film. We're on the same page, Rob. Very, very excited. And that'd be interesting to hear. Gene, is it the aversion to guns in the UK that they changed it from shoot to kill to, deadly pursuit?
Deadly pursuit makes more sense in my book. Shoot to kill is too generic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be a case of Philosopher's Stone versus Sorcerer's Stone, with the, U.S. being so puritanical that we can't have sorcerers in our films.
This is a proper pursuit.
Proper chase.
Unlike the Volvo chase through London and Nuns on the Run.
Well, Sidney Poitier is the star of this movie, and he was a name I'd heard my mom toss around the house as a kid. But those guys, it's those names that are more of a concept than a movie star to you, like Brigitte Bardot, who recently just passed, or Steve McQueen. I couldn't name anything Sidney Poitier was in, and I'd never seen any of those movies as a kid, but I knew when somebody was talking about Sidney Poitier, it meant dignified Black actor. Like, that was the code, right? So it was a bit of a shock to hear we were doing a commission starring Sidney Poitier. And I thought, Big D, that you had allowed somebody to commission a movie from the 60s. I thought we were breaking new ground here at Shat. But no, 1988. So that threw me for a loop.
So anyone who's listened to the podcast for a while, I did a contest a couple of years ago where I sat down with my mother and I showed her an actor or a movie poster. She then had to describe it without the title, without the name of the actors, or any obvious plot points that would give it away. And she would just have to describe it. The way she described Denzel Washington is the same way she described Sidney Poitier to me. Oh, in To Sir With Love, oh, he is a dream. My mother was thirsty. Thirsty for these Black actors. She's got a thing for them, obviously. And I was raised thinking, Sidney Poitier must be something special, because my mother talks about To Sir With Love like there was no tomorrow. So I was excited to go watch it. And he has a presence on screen. And I was a little worried about that, because as the movie starts, this is later in his career. Usually actors, established actors, take on roles in films that they wouldn't normally do because they need to pay the bills, right?
They need to buy a castle.
Yeah, they have to buy a castle, exactly. So I was worried. I was like, please don't let it be that type of movie. And right off the bat, you see it in his eyes that he knows the movie he's in and he is going to elevate it. And by the end, I have more respect for this man. He took this role, him and Tom Berenger, and lifted it up. They put it on their shoulders. This was some heavy lifting. And it turned out to be something I've not been this happy to review a movie in quite a long time, Gene. So thank you very much, Rob.
Well, Shoot to Kill is a 1988 buddy cop action thriller starring Sidney Poitier, Tom Berenger, Clancy Brown, Andrew Robinson, and Kirstie Alley. The film follows an FBI agent pursuing a homicidal extortionist who kidnaps a fishing guide in the Pacific Northwest. The agent teams up with her boyfriend, a local wilderness guide, to rescue her. The film was released to positive reviews from critics who praised the film's direction, performances, and quality despite its formulaic plot. Let's hit the trailer.
Vicious killer. Beautiful hostage. Hot pursuit. Sidney Poitier. Tom Berenger.
You shoot her, you're dead half a second later.
Shoot to Kill. Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
In San Francisco, a man is discovered breaking into his own jewelry store. The FBI questions him and learns the man's wife is being held hostage at their home by a brutal extortionist. During a standoff, the extortionist shoots the family's maid and demands that he be allowed to bring the jeweler's wife to the docks. FBI agent Warren Stanton tails them, but his attempt to apprehend the extortionist leads to the jeweler's wife being shot in the left eye and killed, while the extortionist rigs a boat as a decoy and escapes. So, Big D, we're used to seeing 80s movies, and we think we've seen it all. Critics said this movie was fairly formulaic. I thought it had all kinds of twists and turns that I was not expecting. It is anything but predictable. From the get-go, we're getting all kinds of curveballs thrown at the audience. A diamond heist turns out to be a hostage situation, which is really a serial killer who leads cops on a chase. while he's hiding under a dock. So this is not your average 80s police movie. It's not like we're going to the warehouse, I sliced some cocaine with a knife and tasted it, and we know we've got our guy, right? But what really caught my attention was Steve. Yes, the killer people is named Steve.
Spoiler alert, come on.
To show he means business, he kills the family dog. That's how he shows the jeweler, like, hey, you better cooperate or your wife is next. I will kill the family dog. And this is so smart. I'm not encouraging this. I'm a dog lover, but it is so smart because as a dog lover, I know that losing your dog is horrifying, right? You're attached to it, and to see it die in front of you, to be mutilated, it's a horrible experience. But the max sentence is like, in most states, it's like 3 years. Like Florida's got like a 15-year sentence, but here in Arizona, most states in the U.S., you're only going to get 3 years. You assault a family member, you're getting a lot more than that. But you could blow a dog's brains out, and I think everyone's going to come along with your demands.
So I don't want to be morbid, but it's a brilliant move.
Yeah.
It is a super, super smart move because we meet the jeweler, and the jeweler's manically trying to get into his store to get the diamonds. He's panicked. The police come. He's like, they killed my dog. They killed my dog. 5 minutes later, his family maid, the live-in help, comes out the front door and gets blasted. The dude just kind of shrugs. It wasn't the family dog. So yeah, it's a smart move, dude. Show me you mean business. But I actually really enjoyed the kidnapper. You've already said it's Steve, so it's Steve. But the movie wants you to think that this is some criminal mastermind. And I actually found, it's called Villain Wiki. Gene, I don't know if you've ever seen this.
I have seen the Villain Wiki.
So
well
I'm
done.
on the Villain Wiki, and it says his origin story is obviously shoot to kill. He's an extortionist. His power and skills are gunmanship, intelligence, combat skills, and evasion, right? His crimes are murder, extortion, kidnapping, and theft. And he's actually pretty good. But we don't meet him. He's kept mysterious, except for the voice. And every time he talked, all I could hear was Jigsaw mixed with the student body killer. It's supposed to be dramatic. And he's like, would you like to play a game? And I'm hearing like, he's like, the Mercedes is in the driveway. And it's pulling me out of it. He sends, like, I'm going to send the maid out with a message. And he shoots her, and he's out of it. It's supposed to be terrifying. And I'm just over the top. I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm enjoying it, right? Because it's not what I expected. But this guy's voice, it would have been so much better if he used just like one of those voice boxes, or there was some other way than just wheezing and, hello, did you bring the diamonds?
So for those of you listening at home, Big D recorded several messages for me and sent them to my phone. I was driving at the time, so I got to hear this like in stereo in my car on the upgraded Chevy sound system, like blasted all the way up. And got to tell you, Big D, we've been getting a lot of responses to our social media saying people really like when you do impersonations. This might be your best work.
No, the ones I did during the movie, the ones I sent you, those were much better than the one right now.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about.
I was feeling inspired.
Yeah, I got to see if I still got those on my phone. I can post them out for you guys. But yeah, the killer, he's got riz, as the kids say. He's throwing out lines with a bit of panache, right? I can't think of another mysterious killer who tells the FBI agent to throw the diamonds to him on the dock. And then when he does, he's like, Jesus Christ, is that the best you can throw? I was howling. I did not expect to laugh in this movie. And that was the first hint that we got, that there was going to be some comedy along the way.
And Sidney Poitier is delivering it like with, you're not going to do that, buddy. And then you'll be like, yes, I am. It's these two contradicting styles and tones, but he knows the FBI playbook, and he makes Stanton look like a fool by using every tactic against him.
All I know is if I'm ever in a scenario where there's a sniper on me, I'm grabbing a comforter. So smart. Didn't see it coming. Smart. It's genius. Stanton trails the killer to the forests of Washington, where a man has been found shot in the left eye. Convinced that the extortionist killed the man and stole his identity, Stanton learns that a fishing party led by local fishing guide Sarah Rennell went into the forest from the mine, and he enlists her boyfriend, Jonathan Knox, to help find them. Knox, who wanted to search for Sarah by himself, reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Sarah's fishing party halts when the killer, Steve, throws the rest of the party off a ledge and takes Sarah hostage, demanding that she lead him to Canada. Listeners, remember, at this point in the movie, we have not seen the killer's face. We know he's a white guy who had long hair and cut it off, but that's about it. So when we meet the fishing group, all of whom are white guys, I think the idea, much like The Thing, is we're supposed to guess which guy is the killer hiding among the vacationers. And I'm thinking, okay, like, let's play this game. I'm game. And we got mustache guy who seems like a little too wimpy. Like, maybe it's him. And then we see bragging guy who like talks too much. I'm like, okay, maybe it's him. And then Clancy Brown shows up. Clancy Brown. He looks like a killer. That's why he was the Kurgan in the Highlander, and Sergeant Zim in Starship Troopers, and Hadley in the Green Mile. As soon as you see Clancy Brown, you know that's Steve. The mystery is ruined.
No, I took it as a red herring. I took it completely the opposite way. He was too obvious. He's out there in front looking creepy while everyone else, you have Wilford Brimley. I'm like, oh, it's got to be mustache. It's got to be Wilford Brimley. Or you got other guys like Harvey and Ralph. Ralph looks like a federal agent. All these guys scream more that they're trying to lean heavy on Clancy.
But why would they pay Clancy Brown to be there to just be fishing guy?
This isn't fucking Gary Oldman. It's not like they threw in there John Malkovich.
It's the Kurgan, asshole.
Right, but it's not like you put out there. You have Sidney Poitier. Maybe if like Denzel was there, or like how about Lawrence Fishburne, some other like actor, somebody with some gravitas. I would have believed it. But you're making Clancy Brown out to be some major actor.
You know what would have been great is if they had Clancy Brown and then 4 equally creepy dudes with him, right? Like get the 80s like lineup of the worst of the worst. That's what you need.
Right.
Everybody looks like the killer.
See, I didn't think that. I think you're overthinking it. You told me it was going to be real simple, and maybe that's what threw me off. You ruined it because you were like, oh, right away, I knew who it was. So I'm thinking, I see Mustache Man. I see Norman. I'm like, oh, my God, it's got to be him. Could be Harvey, could be Ben. They're all equally, they could be guilty. So I didn't know halfway through the movie. Norman felt too golly gee. Normally when you do a heel turn for a guy who looks like he could be like a family member or in like Harry and the Hendersons, that's the gosh golly gee, and that turns out to be the sadist. I'm all for it, right? And there's a part in the film where he's kind of joking around and him and Steve are kind of having some aw shucks, city slicker type, walking on the edge of a cliff moment. And all of a sudden, you get Norman falls off. And then Steve, a gun falls out of his vest. So I'm like, oh shit, Steve must be an undercover cop. There's some other sting going on here. I still didn't even believe it, right? And then within 30 seconds, the movie changes gears. He starts tossing off dudes like WWE. It's like SummerSlam. It is one right after another. It's like, have you seen the video? I forget the movie where I think it's about like fantasy football, where the guy's in the backyard and he slaps like a kid.
Yeah.
Another kid comes up, slaps the kid, slaps the wife. It's like slap happy all over the place. Over and over. It keeps going. It's supposed to be tense, but I'm laughing because this shitty looks like, did you see the video? It was a viral video probably about 4 or 5 months ago. It's a couple guys playing golf and there's 2 slow play in front of them, drunk. And the guy's like, I'll fuck you up. The other guy is a hockey player or an ex-hockey enforcer. They're like, trust me, you won't. And it ends with him getting ragdolled and thrown into the lake. That's what this scene looks like, with these dudes getting tossed off the cliff.
I figured the first guy was going to get killed because he sees the gun fall out. Steve can't let him live. He's very clever. As you said, his superpower of evasion. He quickly throws out, I'm a cop. Right? Carver's like, oh, okay, that's plausible. Let me help you up. You got to help the guy up. And then he lets him go and he falls off. And I expected that part. We all knew how that was going to end. I did not foresee, as you said, this turning into the Royal Rumble. And he's just chucking everybody off the side of the cliff until he's left alone with Sarah. Blows his cover completely.
So the last guy, Gene, he's got a big gunpoint.
Yeah.
And he says, jump. Would you be able to jump? Or would you have thought maybe he wouldn't shoot me?
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to get in so much. I'm just getting
It's about 10 feet distance to the water.
But
about 50 feet high.
Okay, so people who are listening, please don't be like, oh, Gene, Krav Maga guy or whatever. But I do train for this scenario. So that disarm is not super tough.
No, not the disarm.
Well, I'm doing the disarm. I'm not jumping.
Oh, so you're going a different
I'm going
route.
for the disarm.
Okay.
So here's my rules. Somebody puts a gun in my face. They want money, jewelry, my phone, whatever. You got it, dude. Here you go. You got it. No problem. Okay. If they want me to go somewhere with them, if they're going to sexually assault me, you know what? Even a sexual assault, I'll take that. I'll take that. If I'm going to survive, fine. A little blowy, not a problem. But as soon as it's like jump off a cliff, no, dude, I'm going for that gun. You have to take your chances. Here's a crazy stat, though, is I recently read that if you get a gun pulled on you in an armed robbery, it's still something like a 40, 60 chance that they won't shoot you anyway, which I thought was wild. That's the stats now, is that the armed robbers have become more aggressive in the sense that you can still comply and they're still going to pull the trigger.
Oh, so it's more likely they're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it used to be you give them the shit and they're gone. They don't want they don't want a murder on their fucking charts. But now it's like they're more apt to shoot people, which was kind of mind blowing. And for the people there who are like, I would draw my gun on them. You're not that fast, bro.
No, I think it's more likely that today people will try to be a hero. Maybe that could also be skewing the numbers. That back in the day, people would actually not do anything and try to let them go. And today, more people are going to pull a Gene Lyons and try to disarm the killer on the cliff.
Kick that gun right out of there.
Worst case, you pull what was the linebacker, Terry Tate?
Yeah.
You just take them both off. All three of them die. You got at least a 50-50 chance here. But after
what a fucking wild move it would have been if the guy grabbed the gun and jumped. We're fucking going, dude. Let's go.
But why also? Steve is a smart guy.
Yeah.
This starts where Steve starts making dumb moves. Why even do this? You could have easily told Norman, hey, sorry, I was a cop. Don't tell anyone. They would have gone along their happy way. Hey, wow, you remember that story? You saved me on a cliff?
Yeah.
He didn't have to go all Macho Man Randy Savage.
I think because at some point he knows that he's got to tell Sarah we're going to Canada, and that's not part of the game plan.
So it was just the easiest. It was
just an opportunity. Yeah. I mean, how often are you at a cliff?
Right.
In Washington all the time.
It was probably a smart move. Yeah. They should maybe all attack them at once. It might have been better than one right after another, just waiting their turn to get tossed off the fucking cliff. But this is only the beginning, Gene, of some body horror and some bone-crushing falls, because I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy. I watch movies with you, Gene. But there's no way later on, when we get Knox. Knox is our mountaineer. He's our tough country guy. He's an expert in tracking, and he is the boyfriend of Sarah. And he's up there, and there's a cable car that goes across a gorge. And smartly, Steve, again, cut the rope. I don't know how none of the group saw him do it, but whatever. So the cable car's stuck. He decides he's going to shimmy across to get it. He's got a rope tied around him. It's like a good thick rope it's not like a mountaineering, like one of those new nylon ones. It's like something you'd see on like an old clipper ship, back in like the 1500s. So he ties himself up. He starts going across, and he falls, dude. And it turns into like a giant pendulum where I'm thinking, how are they going to make it so he swings and misses the rocks? He doesn't. He goes full speed into the side of a cliff, sheer cliff. Best case scenario, this was wrapped around like his upper body, his heart. Worst case, he's broken his back. Maybe even worse than that, he's paralyzed. He treats it like he slipped on the sidewalk. He's all right. He's good. This is medically impossible. This man would not have survived this. This makes the Rambo cliff jump into the pine tree look like an easy thing that anybody would have done.
Yeah, Revenant ain't got shit on Knox. At this point, you're not pulling a guy up the face of a cliff, which is what Sidney Poitier does. Like, come on, grab the face, we'll climb up, No, you are lowering this man down because he is seriously injured, if not dead. It is game over. But you're right, Big D. They have a quick rest. Then he's right as rain. He's trekking through miles and miles and miles of wilderness. He's surviving snowstorms. He's climbing more mountains. Everything's fine. That's the kind of man Knox is. He's that tough.
He is that tough.
After crossing a treacherous gorge, Stanton and Knox discover the dead fisherman in a stream. The pair reach Sarah's cabin and find a note confirming that she is still alive. As the pursuit continues into a snowstorm, Stanton and Knox gain respect for each other. Sarah breaks free from Steve, who fires his gun at her, alerting Stanton and Knox to their location. But Steve recaptures Sarah and escapes in a logging truck. So Big D, in 1983, a few years before Shoot to Kill was filmed, the FBI decided to add a very specific vehicle to its fleet, and that was the helicopter. And it was for a very specific purpose. The helicopter was added for something called the Hostage Rescue Team. And I will let you guess what the Hostage Rescue Team specializes in. My point is that we have a situation here with Sarah that is custom made for helicopters, and I don't know, maybe a few more FBI agents. Could they devote, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 more guys for the job? You know Steve is with Sarah. You know that Sarah takes her fishing groups to specific spots, including her cabin. And you have Knox, her boyfriend, who knows the landscape like the back of his hand. These guys are wasting time with horses and these, rope carriages and stuff like that. No, you get Knox, you say, hey, listen, I know you don't want to work with me, but I've got a helicopter. You want to go up in the air and find these motherfuckers? I guarantee you he's in.
See, but at least they address it. They say, we can't take the helicopter because he'll know immediately that we're on to him, which makes no sense because there's helicopters out there anyway, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do it. But then you get Stanton doesn't have a problem shooting at the horse to startle him to run back to camp, right? What, he didn't hear the gun go off? And this is a core problem, I think, with Stanton. When there was the hostage negotiation, he didn't come in there looking to deal. He came in there looking to fuck shit up. He was going to kill Knox immediately. He's like, all right, hit it. They floodlights on the house. The guy's trying to ask for items he wants. And Stanton doesn't want to play.
We didn't even get to the point. I'm so glad you brought this up. I totally glossed over the fact that the beginning of this movie, Stanton is rolling around with his own personal sniper in the back of the car. He's just like, all right, so here's what's going to happen. You shoot him any chance you get, all right? And he tells him, not like, hey, here's the rules of engagement, or like, here's what I want you to do. He goes, if you feel good about it and you're sure about it, go for it.
Take the fucking shot. When the maid got shot, he didn't even give a shit. He didn't flinch. He tells him, hey, take the shot. He was trying to encourage him to shoot the blanket. He doesn't care. He's not negotiating it. And this sets a tone for the rest of the movie because he will do anything not to save Sarah, not to bring the man to justice, but to get revenge. He's got to get his guy. He'll do anything to bring Steve down. If it gets Sarah killed, oh shit, that's too bad. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care because Tom Berenger's character, he's a mountain guy. And he says, listen, you're slowing me down. That is a fact. You've got this city slicker, fish out of water FBI agent who's stumbling around the woods. He is slowing him down. Every time that Knox starts to gain ground, then you get Stanton there to slow him fucking down. He'll fall down, he'll trip, he'll get cold, he'll start whining about being hungry. They eventually get stuck in a full-blown blizzard. This dude is wearing like a Marty McFly, like puffy vest, khakis, some isotonic gloves, and a pair of fucking slippers, and he's out there in the middle of a blizzard. Guess what? If you had just stayed back, Stanton, maybe Knox would have been able to get through that. Instead, now they're stuck digging out an ice cave like it's a survival documentary. And at some point, I'm just saying, don't be a hero. You're going to get Sarah killed, and then Knox is going to end up having to kill you.
I wonder if this is like what the Delta Force guys felt like going into Venezuela. DEA on the job. And the point the movie's trying to make is that Knox doesn't know how to be a cop. Stanton knows how to be a cop. But
this isn't a police corner where it's a police officer.
Exactly. The thing is, and Stanton makes that case, he like tackles him to the ground. He's like, hey, you never dealt with terrorists or like diamond thieves. I've been on the force for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. But you know what Knox has done? He's clearly hunted before. He's living out there off the land. Left to his own devices, this is how the movie goes. Knox quietly and quickly finds Sarah and Steve. He lines up that headshot from 200 yards. He hits it. Steve's fucking done. End of movie.
But that's the point. It would have been the end of the movie. It would have made.
But then it
would have made sense.
Yeah. But then it wouldn't be a buddy cop movie. And we do get, thankfully, out of that buddy cop formula, some funny scenes. The funniest, perhaps, is Stan's freezing in a snowstorm. He's going to die. And Knox is like, hey, if we want to survive this snowstorm, we got to dig a shelter down deep and huddle up and stay warm. And a few minutes later, we see both men. They're essentially naked. They're in a sleeping bag together, sharing body heat. And Knox is like rubbing Stanton to warm him up. And he's like, you heard about us country boys. And it's intentionally hilarious until you start to look around the cave. And you realize that this hole that they dug in a hurry, in an emergency, it looks like the rebel base at Hoth. Like the walls are like perfectly sculpted. It's a big room. And it would have taken, I would estimate, like 10 men a week to carve away that much ice that cleanly.
No, Gene, I sent you a link earlier. People, don't judge me. There's a YouTube channel I like to follow. It's called The Outdoor Boys. It's Tommy, Nate, and Jacob, and they live up in like way up in Alaska. And this guy specializes in doing these snow caves. He can do them in about 4 or 5 hours. He's got like a saw.
Size that they had in this movie?
Yes, he has an ice saw. He's very good, but he does it in nice weather. So he'll do it before a storm, then the storm hits it, right? These guys are out there with the only equipment it looked like they had were like those 2 giant metal salad bowls. They're doing like scraping the snow. And no, that never would have happened. You couldn't have done that. But Gene, if you have a serial killer has kidnapped Sarah, and now you're dragging King B through the snow. You're in a snow cave and you know Sarah's getting further and further away, most likely going to be killed. Are you going to rub up on King B and start giggling and making jokes about, oh, you know us country boys. I forgot about Sarah. Bad timing.
Yes, but we've been like best friends for 30 years. If it's some FBI agent I've never met before, no.
I think you're leaving King B in that fucking cave and you're going.
That's not the story he'd tell everybody, though.
No, he wouldn't.
No, he'd be like, oh, fucking Gene. He messaged me the other day and he sends me a picture of a pickup truck. And I haven't opened it yet, so all I see is the text first. And the text says, I know you're not much of a manual labor guy, but tell me this doesn't like piss you off or whatever. And I open it up and it's a guy, he's got a short bed. Like, you know, the pickups that are like a quad cab, but then the bed is like 4 feet or some shit, you know?
Is this a modern pickup or like
like a modern big ass lifted fucking thing. And this is a real photo. It's not like a meme. He saw it on the street here in Tempe, Arizona. And the guy's got the back window of the truck open, and then he's got lumber going into the cab of the truck, into the passenger seat, and then out the back because the bed is too short. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking, that does piss me off. But also, can we get back to this? You're not much of a manual labor guy. I'm like, yeah, I don't enjoy manual labor, but I think that he's got like this idea that he's like rough and tumble guy, and I'm just a tenderfoot. This motherfucker spends like 16 hours a day on the couch.
Well, in defense of him, he does run an outdoor, like...
That's true.
Like a river guide. If this was a buddy comedy between you and King B, you would be the digital marketing specialist, and he'd be the outdoorsman.
Well, I'd want my 4 a.m. food. Yeah, I want to go to a restaurant at 4 a.m. That's true.
Yeah, so I would expect, as an outdoorsman, that Knox would have certain skills that suddenly he starts to forget. Rob mentioned this bear attack.
Yeah.
Gene, we did the great outdoors. And do you remember the simple rule?
I do.
If it's black, you fight back. If it's brown, you lay down. Emma knows it. And these guys somehow come up with a secret third option I've never heard about, which is back up slowly and then get into a panicked run. It's the worst possible choice. You don't casually back up with a grizzly bear. It's not like he's going to leave you alone. And then you run away, right? You're basically ringing the dinner bell for him to come after you. And I don't care. They make the joke that, well, it's the first black person this bear has ever seen. I don't think that's going to matter as he's gutting Sidney Poitier and then crushing Knox's skull with his giant jaws.
That's true. But Sidney Poitier fucking eats this scene up. This is the epitome of what I expected to get out of this movie, which is an actor with Sidney Poitier's credentials going full Ace Ventura. It's worth the price of admission. This is what I wanted to see in the movie, and I'm glad it happened. I wouldn't say I was laughing out loud, but it brought a smile to my face.
And there was one other little logic problem I had in one of these scenes. Sarah gets to the cabin, and the local, like the community on the radio, is going to communicate with her with the FBI sitting behind the scenes. So they're trying to speak in code. Oh, there's bad weather coming in, Sarah. It's going to be terrible. And they're like, did you think she can tell? Is there something off with her voice? And then they go, oh, there's a killer in your group. It's somebody, a murderer. And then she's like, oh, okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go, okay? And they're like, I can't tell if she knew what was going on. Bitch, if you call me in a cabin and tell me there's a killer in my group, the first thing I'm going to say is, who is it? What do they look like? Give me a clue. When Sarah doesn't seem to care about more information about the killer, I would have immediately known she was under duress.
Also, it's a small, tight-knit community. So this is how this would work with like you and me. If I had a hunch that there was a killer in your home and you called me, and I'd be like, hey, Big D, how are Rambo and Tuesday? And if you said, oh, they're doing just fine, I go, oh, there's a fucking killer in his house. Right? Yeah. Just some fucking fact like that. An easy thing.
Even fucking Terminator 2 knew that. Hey, Janelle, who's that in the backyard? Is that Wolfie? Yeah, that's Wolfie. Come home, John. That's all I was asking for.
Your step-parents are dead. Stanton and I don't know why I did that in Poitier voice, but here we are.
It was dramatic.
Stanton and Knox arrive in Vancouver, where they learn that Steve broke into a home and called a diamond broker. They break into the broker's home and interrogate him, then stake out the meeting place and find Steve holding Sarah. After a brief shootout, Steve carjacks an SUV and leads Stanton, Knox, and the Vancouver Police Department on a car chase. The police spot the SUV on a departing ferry, but Stanton recognizes it's a decoy.
So we talk a lot that movies can be a love letter to the place that they're filmed or the story takes place. The Pacific Northwest, it looks beautiful on film. It's distracting me from the plot because I'm sitting back and I'm just like, forget the killer, forget the plot. I'm just looking at the trees. I'm looking at the streams. I'm looking at the snow-capped mountains, the forest. It is so gorgeous. And then you mix in this story. It is so compelling. It is a perfect place, perfect plot. There's tension. And then the movie throws that all out. The second half, they go back to the city. And the movie seems to change gears. It's suddenly like Sidney Poitier is now Sherlock Holmes. He's going to, because now it's usually when you have a fish out of water, you get Crocodile Dundee in New York. He was the big shit in the Outback. So here we get Sherlock Holmes, Sidney Poitier is like, oh, look at the fiber under the table. Oh, we're going to track their movement. We're going to call the phone company. We're going to connect the dots and we're going to figure out what's been going on. This is nowhere near as exciting as fucking ragdolling dudes off of a cliff, people falling from a ravine. It's as if I felt the movie took a step back. Because once you're in the city, and you start getting a more traditional chase. You get the ferry showdown. It's so typical 80s thriller. It's got so much of like the Die Hard 3 in it, where they couldn't deal well enough with New York. They had to then go up to the Canadian border, and there's a helicopter and wires and a boat and standoffs. The movie had a good thing, and it just kind of lost that confidence in what it was.
I was definitely more invested prior to Vancouver than after we reached Vancouver. But I understand why they had to do it, right? Buddy cop movies have to give us situations in which each of the pair excels. Like Knox got his time out in the wild, and this was Stan's chance to shine. It's like if like Rush Hour had no kung fu, right? Like Jackie Chan needed to have his thing, and Chris Tucker needed to have his thing. But I agree with you, Big D. you already had some front-loaded parts where Stanton did his thing. And so maybe we show a different dynamic, which is that Stanton and Knox working together, right, take him down in a specific way. And I think, honestly, Stanton kind of showed his chops when he saved Knox's life by miraculously saving him from that cliff fall. And he survived all these hardships in the wild. So maybe the alternative story there is that he's adapted to these conditions and become a stronger cop for it. We didn't get any of that. But yeah, I agree with you. It kind of falls apart and stumbles ass backward into the finishing line.
And again, I'm not trying to rewrite this, but have something they've learned, a lesson. Maybe they're on the top of a building and Stanton uses, now he's not afraid of heights because he's already faced that. He now knows how to, he's stepped outside. He's taken some of his outdoor skills and he's applying them to the city. And maybe in reverse, you get Knox is doing some forensic identification of some clue that turns the case. But we don't. It's still the same person. They didn't learn anything. And I wish it could have been so much better. And I think we're doing a film later on this year that's the same story, The Edge. I think where there's a group that's in Alaska. Someone is not what they seem, and it stays up there. So I'm excited to see if that's a better outcome than this.
I'm trying to think of who's like the villain of the 90s that everyone was like, oh, he's the villain.
Bad Kaiser Schlosser?
Who's like the guy? Yeah, they're like, no, like an actor who's always the villain. 90s actor.
Gary Oldman was tons of
always. No.
In the 90s? Yes, Gary Oldman was the cop and the bad guy.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like bad guy in The Professional, bad guy in Lost in Space, bad guy in True Romance.
Is one of the guys in The Edge. It's like, oh, who could it be? And there's Gary Oldman as a little person.
As tiptoeing through the tulips.
Stanton finds Steve and shoots him before Knox frees Sarah. When Steve takes hostages, Stanton draws his attention and he is shot multiple times. Steve prepares to execute Stanton, but he's run out of bullets. Click. Both men then fall overboard and Stanton shoots Steve, killing him. Knox dives into the water to rescue Stanton and the pair are picked up by a rescue boat.
I think Stanton would have been perfect with the Untouchables. He's reckless. He can't think 5 steps ahead of where he is. And earlier on, I said he had like a hero complex. It gets even worse here. When you get out of the mountains, I thought maybe he would be more grounded. He'd be more refined. We know he doesn't give a shit about Sarah's life. It's obvious. And it leads all the way to this ferry. And on the ferry, it takes us to the next level. This is a public ferry with cars, with tons of people. And he is blinded by revenge. He still wants to get his guy. There's been no concern for Sarah. He doesn't even ask Knox, hey, don't worry, buddy, we're going to get her back. He doesn't even mention her name once. He is so focused on catching Steve that he ignores everything around him. There's kids on a public ferry, moms, people eating, people just having a great time. What does he decide to do? He decides this is the perfect place that he is going to pull out a gun and it is just going to become a shooting spree. He doesn't even hold his fire. There's ricochets around families and he is so hell-bent on getting justice that he's becoming more of a caricature of a cop. He has no restraint.
Over the past few years, Big D, we've seen police chases in a lot of different settings, whether it's been a train, a highway, a packed city like we saw with Die Hard. This is a ferry. You know, the cool thing about a ferry, it goes from point A to point B over water, right? So if you got a killer on the ferry and he started a hostage situation, you know what? He's on the ferry.
Yeah.
You call where the ferry is going to go and you say, hey, get all of the Mounties, right?
No,
we know they're ready for a fight.
Yeah.
And get them all set up, ready to go. He's cornered. He's either going to have to jump into the water or surrender. And by the end of this movie, I've developed a love-hate relationship with Steve. I really want Sarah to survive. Steve's kind of cool, but he's also a bad guy. And to add an additional dimension, I'm rooting for Knox and Stanton to get their man. I like these guys at this point. So really, you could take it a bunch of different directions and I'd be happy. Stanton as you said, he learns from something in the movie, right? He calls out the decoy because he learned from his previous mistake of the boat decoy. And he's like, this guy's a trickster. We're not going that way. You know, we're going with the boat that doesn't look like he's on it. And we find him. We're off to the races. We got an action sequence. Sidney Poitier's jumping over things and people getting knocked over. Great. Except the movie is losing its balance on a cinematic tightrope, right? This is where things should get exciting. They've gotten precarious. The chase itself, as I said, doesn't make a ton of sense. And Stanton catches like 4 rounds to the chest from what looks like, what is that, a 45 he's packing? It's at least a 40. That's not a 9. It's bigger.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. It's Clancy Brown. Big man, big gun. So he's got holes in his chest, sucking wounds, and he falls overboard into the water. And I think that's some strait that the ferry crosses, right?
Right.
Somehow, though, he survives all that, and he blasts Steve. He gets his man. Does any of this work for you?
No, again, maybe there could have been an episode where he had survived the rapids, where we had seen Sidney Poitier learn how to swim or how to fight in the water.
Is that a black joke?
No, I was thinking maybe like the bear. The bear takes him down to the stream. He has to do combat in the river. This isn't a racial thing that I didn't think he knew how to swim, but he's a city slicker, right?
Got it.
You would expect that maybe he hadn't been swimming in open water with a man who's trying to drown him. But I feel like the movie did itself a disservice. When you build up a legendary villain, somebody who's outsmarted everybody, it's very Hannibal Lecter in the end didn't make some stupid mistake that would get himself caught immediately. I want them to stay smart until the end, because then when you finally catch them, it feels like it's rewarding.
Got it. Yep.
You know, because in the beginning, the jewelry setup, the boat, the misdirection, it all works. And now he's dragging Sarah into the city. Why? Why all of a sudden does he care about her? He didn't mind blasting an old lady in the face just because, I keep wanting to say Sinclair. Fuck, what's his?
Stanton.
Just because Stanton kind of, he didn't listen to me, so I shot the woman. Now you're going to drag Kirstie Alley into the city. She's a liability. She screams. She could bolt. She'll get you caught immediately. And then you agree to meet in a public place. He's smart, but yet the cops are all walking around with giant earpieces. The ones are pretending to play chess, and they're not even looking at the board. It's obvious he's become dumb. And then during the standoff, it gets even more ridiculous. Knox, during the standoff, decides to do mountain man parkour gymnastics, like swings down, knocks him over. Now you have, on the ground is Knox and Sarah. He is point blank 2 feet away. Why wouldn't he have said some quip line or something? Well, I guess I got the jump on you. Boom, blow both their heads off.
Fare thee well.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Or he said, you never could listen. Whatever, I don't know, just anything. But instead, all of a sudden now, he's going to run away. He cares. It's stupid. And those bullet shots, Gene, you remember Toy Story.
Yeah.
When we get another black actor, Dean Parker, he eats about 5 bullets in the chest and he keeps going. Here's Stanton.
Whoa. Somebody got shot in Toy Story?
No. Toy Soldiers.
Oh.
Remember when the terrorists attack it and then you get, I think it was Louis Gossett Jr. or was it?
Sorry.
Oh, no, it was, I got my actors confused. It was, it wasn't.
No, it was Louis Gossett Jr.
No, was it? No, I think it was Andy Dufresne's friend in prison. I think it was.
That is Morgan Freeman?
I think it was Morgan Freeman. Are you sure?
No. Yes.
It was Louis Gossett Jr.?
Morgan Freeman was not the dean of students in fucking Toy Soldiers. Could you imagine that? Okay, boys. So
I got confused because we did Glory recently, so that's why I was thinking.
Has Morgan Freeman ever handled a gun in a movie? Could you imagine how good an actor you have to be to do your entire career never touching a gun?
Well, I mean, you're making that bold statement.
Hollywood.
He probably has held it. We just talked about Glory. He was fucking carrying a musket.
Oh, yeah, he had a gun there.
Right? But here, Stanton's less FBI agent. He's now a fucking comic book hero. And I'm wondering, because we got these 2 black actors now who can take 5 or 6 rounds to the chest and just walk it off. Yeah. Is it black actors? They have like a higher, I know you do Dungeons and Dragons. They have a higher hit point. higher HP? Is that what it is?
Oh my God.
Like if you shot Knox.
No, but I do agree with you, though, that it is weird. Like, Knox shows so much savvy, so much expertise in that initial heist. And then, yes, he's been probably starving. He's been going through the woods. He's tired, whatever. He might make a mistake, a misstep, whatever. But you're absolutely right. Why are you showing up with a hostage to a diamond drop? Like, what's your buyer going to say? The broker going to say, hey, who the fuck is she?
It's even a better option.
Because that's how Canadians
You kill her or leave her someplace. So you get caught. You say, if you don't let me go, she's dead. Instead, you decide to lug her through the city. She's already kicked you.
Yeah.
She's already tried to escape. She's not following. She threw your diamond, into the woods.
That was pretty boss.
It's a stupid move. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're not winning like cool points. You're going to be dead.
It's pretty cool.
Not that cool. But I have one hot take before we get out of here, Gene.
All right.
Tom Berenger. We've talked a lot about Sidney Poitier. I think Tom Berenger could be a discount Bruce Willis. He's got the same energy. He's an everyman.
Discount.
He's the tough guy. He's sarcastic. He's quick with a line. He never seems to be impressed or scared with danger around him. Let's swap. Could Die Hard work with Tom Berenger?
No. He's not likable enough.
You didn't like him as
Tom
Crash?
Berenger needs to permanently be in Vietnam movies.
He was in Vietnam movies.
He was made for Vietnam. That's what I'm saying, but he was just made for that. That's what he needs to be doing. That's why they put him out here in the woods. This was 1988 to evoke from the Vietnam vet set. And the woods. Yeah, I get it.
I know
it's Rambo.
I know he did Major League.
Different.
So I'm going to see if Tom Berenger did any other comedies. And now I'm going to bet money he's not in any comedies. Major League. He was in Platoon, of course. Okay, so he has to have done some comedies. Oh, he's put in the work. Wow. Tom Berenger went all the way back to early 75 and 76. Dogs of War, The Big Chill, it's an adult drama, Platoon, Shoot to Kill, Major League, Born on the 4th of July again, Dream On. He was in The Sniper again, military. He was in Sliver. He was in Gettysburg, Major League 2. Yeah, so no real comedies.
Was Sliver the one where like one of the Baldwin brothers was like spying on people and shit?
It was some like expensive.
I masturbated to that movie a ton.
It was. I assume it wasn't to the Baldwin, to Stephen Baldwin, or it was Billy Baldwin.
No.
Billy Baldwin. Sharon Stone. I assume that you pleasured yourself.
Speaking of which, I forget, a few pods ago you mentioned Rising Sun. Oh, when we did The Hunger. No, when we did The Hunted, you mentioned Rising Sun. I, as a kid, fun Gene Lyons story. This will go right up there with being naked in my sleep sack during Dracula. I, as a kid, was mid-pleasure, not knowing that woman was going to get killed.
It didn't stop you, I hope.
No, it absolutely stopped me. What do you mean you hope? The woman
you
died.
Just rewind.
But
what? Like, did it bother you? Like, you were emotionally connected to the character that you couldn't climax?
I wasn't emotionally connected to her, but I just saw a woman murdered
so you just
on screen.
Double-click back. You rewinded like 5 or 6 seconds. Then it adds to your pleasure because you're under a time crunch. You know you got to finish up before the murder. So it's.
Have you read this article? I'm assuming that it's out there because I saw it. Like, I was out looking for it. It came into my feed about the dangers of masturbating when not fully erect. Do you know about this?
Where are you finding this? Are you on Reddit? Where are you finding this information?
No, it's like in my Facebook feed.
I don't even want to see your For Me page or whatever comes up in your thread. So you're talking about climaxing while flaccid or while like semi-erect? If
you masturbate and climax whilst not fully erect, right? Like you had a half chub.
Can I take a guess?
Basically.
I think your pipes aren't completely clean. So you might get some kind of backup that stays and will lead to an infection.
Oh, no. No, well, I don't know. I mean, that might be the case too. No, I thought when you were going to say pipes, you meant your vasculature. Because what actually happens is like, there's a couple things that happen. One is your body recognizes that like,
it gets lazy. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it gets lazy. Exactly. And what's crazy about it is that then when you are having the actual sex, the P and V kind of sex, or for those out there, P and A or P and, I guess those are the options. When you are actually out there having the penetration, you will start to like panic because you're not getting the quality of erection you want. And so then you'll tighten up to try to get that blood in there. And that's even worse because it blocks the blood even more. So essentially, word to the wise. Now, I am not a doctor, but from what I've read, you want to make sure that every time fully aroused, full mast before you blast.
Well, that's why they sell cock rings.
That's why they sell cock rings?
I think because then you don't have to worry about your penis getting lazy, Gene. You just get yourself hard. You put on the cock ring. It stops you from losing blood. Because I can picture you. I know the way you think about death.
Me?
Yeah, you think about death. I can imagine you, what's running through your mind as you're worried. You're like, okay, don't go flaccid. I can't climax that now. You must be running through all these scenarios in your head.
Oh, yeah. It's a very busy place.
Yeah, just get a cock ring. You can remove one from your thoughts.
There we go.
We need to make a Shat The Movies.
We should probably make some Shat merch that is be full mast before you blast. I'm gonna add that on the list.
That's almost as good as Got Milk.
All right, now is the time of the podcast. We give our Shat score for Shoot to Kill. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get off your respective bums. 0 wipes, the perfect movie. It is 1988, Kirstie Alley. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's when you try to play games and get a woman killed. Big D, you go first. What is your wipe score for Shoot to Kill?
First off, dear listeners, YouTube has a full version of this film. So you can watch it for free. We couldn't find it anywhere else. But for me, I really like the movie up until they leave the mountains. The first half, it's tense. I think it's fun. It works. It's solid wilderness mystery. It's The Thing. It's The River Wild. You don't know who the killer is. I was a little more perplexed. Gene figured it out right away. But once they're back in the city, end it. It started to feel bloated, started to feel overcomplicated. It's like I mentioned Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance should have ended in New York City. We didn't need to get to the border. We didn't need the hostage standoff, the boat, the helicopter and the wire, the bridge, all that shit. It didn't add to it. It was as if they didn't know when to stop. If they had stayed in the woods, man, I think this would have been maybe like a 1.5 wipe movie. It would have been super strong. But for me, with that ending, it's better than average, but it's not much better. 2.25 wipes.
I'm really close to you on this one, Big D, and agree with everything you said. As far as buddy cop movies from the 80s go, this is a pretty good one. I was not disappointed. Agreed. I don't regret watching it. And Sidney Poitier doing comedy about 10 years past his prime is fantastic. But as you said, the ending falls apart. And Knox, I felt, wasn't as gripping a character as he could be. You said that Tom Berenger is kind of more versatile than we thought. I feel like they could have really punched this up, like slap maybe a Mel Gibson in there, and you really got something. Like a wild man out in the wild.
Yeah, but then you would have needed to add in like their captain, who's telling them the whole time. He's the captain who's telling them.
And they call it shoot to weapon.
No, what would they call it in England?
Lethal pursuit.
No, you got to come up with your British name. I don't know what it would be. But yeah, as a buddy comedy, I'll tell you, it works better than it should. When you put these two together, it could have gone horribly wrong, but it works really well for what it is.
I'm going to go 2 wipes.
Oh, it's very generous of you.
Yeah. Pretty close to Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And with 2 wipes for me and 2.25 wipes for you, Big D, that gives us an average wipe score of 2.125 wipes for Shoot to Kill.
So, Gene, I recently went back. I had let the Pantheon, doing my updated rankings, fall a little bit behind. So now I've got the updated. We're up to date here comparing with our other movies. So with a score of 2.125 wipes, that now ties us in the 212 spot. With Stripes, Airplane, Hackers, Bad Boys, Face Off,
wow,
Some Kind of Wonderful, 8mm, and Three Kings.
These are good movies. It's a very entertaining slot in the Shat Pantheon. Like, all these movies are fun to watch.
And I almost think that's it. It doesn't have to be a great movie. It doesn't have to be a bad movie. But in that middle, it's entertaining. It's not a great... Some of these movies aren't great, right? If you could talk Airplane, it's funny. but it's not great. Bad Boys, and I think this has to be the prison Bad Boys with Sean Penn. I don't think this is the...
Yeah, I don't think it was a Martin Lawrence.
I think it was the other
Boys.
one. But yeah, these movies are fun. And I think that's our sweet zone. That's our sweet area.
All right, Rob. Well, thank you for the second of 4 movies commissioned. Big D, why don't you tell us what Rob has coming up next week?
So, Gene, next week, Rob is sticking with the buddy cop genre. Police Detective Chris and Bill are on the hunt for an escaped prisoner, Stick Montgomery. When the trail dries up, the pair is put on around-the-clock surveillance of the fugitive's former girlfriend, Maria. What starts out as a boring assignment monitoring a woman with binoculars quickly turns into something more exciting when romance and Maria's gun-toting ex arrive on the scene. Commissioned by Rob H. This came out in 1987, and it's another buddy pairing movie that doesn't look like a perfect pair at initial glance, but I think it's going to work.
All right. All right, Rob, thank you so much for the commission. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat The Movies. You should follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat The Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, buying our merch, or by commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website at shatpod.com. And if you're not sure what kind of merch we have out there or want to see it modeled, perhaps on my Lazy Susan on my kitchen table, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and I will be showing you guys all the stuff out there. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV. We review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all the information on our website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever our fine podcasts be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
From Touchstone Pictures, Breakout.
Don't move. Hey! Oh, he has an old girlfriend here.
Stakeout.
Looks like she's undressing.
Fake Out.
I don't know your name.
What a bozo.
Look Out. Richard Dreyfuss, Emilio Estevez. Who says a little danger can't be a lot of fun? Stakeout. Rated R.
One show sneak preview tonight. Check newspaper for time.